Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. How is it nearly Christmas? I don't know about you, but it is crazy that Christmas is nearly around the corner. And this episode is perfectly timed to help set you up for success around the Christmas and festive season, because I know for a lot of women, we often struggle with eating and how to eat and what to eat and not what to eat. And this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 daily habits for smarter food choices over the Christmas and New Year season. Now, this episode links in really well with my previous episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, definitely go back and listen to it, because I remember spending so much of my life feeling like I had zero control, like I had no control over how I showed up for myself, how I exercised, how I ate, all of those kind of things, because I had a family, I was working, I was juggling all of these things, and I just felt like I had zero control. So if you feel like that, definitely go back and listen to the last episode of the Healthy Her podcast. But I have learned over time that I do get a choice. I do get a choice how I show up for myself, and I do get a choice about what I choose to eat and what I don't eat, and that food doesn't have to control me. I can actually be in control. I can enjoy all of the Christmas and festive and New Year things and all of the social events and parties and catch-ups and all of the relaxing on the couch, binge watching Christmas movies and Netflix, that I can do all of those things. And so this episode, I'm sharing with you the top 5 daily things that I do and that I will be doing over this time to make sure that when New Year rolls around, that I still feel good, that I don't feel bloated and gross and disgusting, and that I'm feeling really guilty for all of this food that I ate. So these daily habits are ones that have set me up for absolute success. They've helped me lose 10 kilos. They've also helped me maintain my weight loss and also my habits of daily exercise and meal prepping and eating nourishing meals and all of those kind of things. These habits have definitely set me up for success. And these are also habits that I teach our healthy eating hype gal members, because like I said, I know as women, we often just feel like we have no control over things, but you do have more control than you think. So I'm really hoping that these 5 tips, because they are really easy things. And that's the thing, as women, we so overcomplicate healthy eating and weight loss. And I was so guilty of this too, but it's really about getting back to basics. So these are 5 daily habits that I'm going to be doing over these, next, as well too. And I know too, for a lot of women, you've got Christmas, you've got Boxing Day, you've got New Year. And then after New Year, the kids don't go back to school until I think it's end January, early February. I'm not sure of the exact date that they start next year. But, for a lot of women too, they have to juggle kids and work and all of those kind of things, as well as managing the social events and other bits and pieces. So these tips are really going to help you, just feel like you've enjoyed yourself and have had a really balanced, healthy, but enjoyable festive and New Year season. Okay, my daily habit number 1, start your day with a high protein breakfast. Now, I want to be really clear on this. 2 eggs is not enough protein to start your day. It's got protein in it, yes, absolutely, but it's not enough protein. You need to be looking at around 30 to 40 grams of protein in your breakfast to start your day. Now, the reason that is really important, and it is especially important at this time of the year and when we are super busy and doing lots of things, because How you start your day will either set you up for failure for the rest of the day, or it will set you up. Starting your day with a high protein breakfast will set you up for eating success for the rest of the day. So regardless of what you've got on, whether you're going shopping, whether you're catching up with friends, whatever you are doing, having a high protein breakfast to start your day will set you up for success. So some really easy ways that I do that. I meal prep my Real Nourish pancake tray bake. If you are new here, that is my brand that I created because I found on my own journey that there just wasn't any meal prep options available, like made for women, and that were like fish that I could keep in my pantry and then just meal prep whenever I wanted to. So even at these busy times, I will still spend 10 minutes, because that's all it takes, meal prepping my Real Nourish pancake bake, because it's high in protein. I can pull it out of the fridge, I can eat it, and I don't have to overthink it. And I know that eating that high protein breakfast is going to set me up for success for the rest of the day. When you eat a high protein breakfast, what it does is it makes you feel fuller for longer. And what happens when you feel full? You don't want to pick at food all the time. Like, as women, we always relate it to, oh, well, I've got no willpower. Like, I remember thinking that. Like, I remember the food would be put in front of me and I just couldn't stop eating it. It was one biscuit and it was a donut and it was something else. And I just had no control. When you eat enough protein and when you start your day with a high protein breakfast, when those things are put in front of you, you have control because you just genuinely aren't hungry. So it's very easy to say no to things, and you don't have to rely on willpower. You don't have to feel inspired. You can just say, no thanks, I'm good, because you're genuinely full and you genuinely just don't feel like eating those things. So definitely recommend starting your day with a high protein breakfast. Another super easy one is a protein smoothie. Super easy, take you like 10 seconds to make. Add some fruit in it, maybe even like a handful of spinach, because spinach and zucchini in smoothies, you just can't even taste that stuff. So just throw it in there, blitz it up, add a scoop of your favorite protein powder. If you are wanting to know more about those kind of things, I have done another episode of the Healthy Her podcast, all about protein and protein powders. I have used Happy Way for the longest time. There's also like my discount code and stuff back in that previous episode if you're wanting to try out some protein powder. But yes, definitely recommend starting your day with a high protein breakfast. And if you are an egg girly and you're going, but Jan, I'm not a sweet breakfast person. I really like my eggs and my avo and things like that. It's great. But if you're going to have eggs and toast for breakfast, increase the protein amount in your breakfast really easily by adding in egg whites. So let's say you're the girl that normally has 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast. Have 2 scrambled eggs and add 2 egg whites to that, because what it will do, it will increase the protein intake without increasing the fat and the calories from the eggs. So that's a really simple way to increase your protein intake in the morning if you are a savory girl and you do like to have a savory breakfast. Another great one that will save you heaps of time is like a frittata or something like that. Again, have your eggs and add your egg whites into your mix with your ham and cheese and your tomatoes and spinach and all of those kind of things, because that will increase the protein content of your breakfast. Okay, tip number 2 that I will be doing to have a healthy and balanced Christmas and to put myself in control and to be able to make smarter food choices. Number 2, carry water with you everywhere. This is a habit that I never used to do. Now, think about these times. So for me, it was I would need to go out shopping. So I'd have to go shopping. I'd have my list. I needed to buy food. And then I had to get like a birthday card and a present for some kid's birthday. And like it was someone else's like birthday in the family. I needed to get a gift for that. And the kids needed socks. And so I had my list. I needed to do food shopping. I needed all of these things. I would go to the shops. And I would go to the shops for several hours and I would never, ever take a water bottle with me. And what would happen? I would end up at the cafe buying the biggest muffin that I could find, and I would be inhaling that. And as I realized over time, it's that I wasn't hungry for a muffin. It was that I hadn't drunk anything. I hadn't had any water. I'd even woken up and hadn't drunk any water. So often we mistake hunger for thirst. So whatever you are doing over this holiday, festive, Christmas, New Year period, take a water bottle with you. It's just habit. It's like one of those things. Like I said, I never used to do it. Never, ever. Whereas now I literally will not leave the house without a water bottle. So whether that's a drive in the car, whether it's to the shops, wherever, I will always carry a water bottle with me. And that has definitely helped put me back in control and helped me make smarter choices, because when I choose to eat something, I'm eating it because I'm genuinely hungry, not because I'm super, super thirsty and dehydrated and really need a drink of water. So again, that's where I get to make smarter food choices. because I've drunk my water and I don't feel dehydrated. So high protein breakfast and carry your water bottle everywhere. Are you tired of the endless struggle to eat healthy and nail your meal prep routine? Introducing the Real Nourish Do-It-Yourself Meal Prep Mixes, the ultimate solution for busy women like you. When I went on my own personal health journey, I discovered the many benefits of meal prep, and after much searching, I just couldn't find a meal prep mix that was designed especially for women. So I literally decided to create my own. Trust me, as a busy working mum, meal prep has changed my life. Our mixes are packed with protein to keep you energized and feeling full. Our mixes can be whipped up in under 10 minutes, perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Using our award-winning pancake tray bake mix means you can say goodbye to standing over a hot stove, flipping pancakes. Simply add water, toss in your favorite fruits, and bake. If you're ready to revolutionize your meal prep game, you can find my mixes at theactivebod.com or follow us on Instagram at realnourish_. And as a special thank you to our Healthy Her community, we have a discount code. So just enter the code, the Healthy Her, at the checkout. Okay, number 3 of my 5 daily habits, and I really want you to listen to this one. Don't skip meals. Say it again. Don't skip meals. You're asking for trouble. It is an absolute recipe for disaster if you skip meals. We are all about feeling empowered and in control and like knowing what we are doing and knowing how to eat and feeling good about the food choices that we're making. What happens when you skip a meal? So whether you skip a meal because you're busy or you skip a meal because you feel guilty because you overate something, regardless of your why for skipping that meal, it is a recipe for disaster. Like you are literally setting yourself up for failure because when you skip a meal, what happens? You get hungry. Now, I know this from firsthand experience because I was the skip a meal girl. Like that was my go-to weight loss strategy was, this is not working, so I'll just skip a meal. That means I consume less calories, I'm good to go. It doesn't work like that. So when you skip a meal, you're setting yourself up for failure because you're just going to feel hungry. And a big thing that I learned on my own weight loss journey is that quite often the skipping a meal technique doesn't come back to bite us until later on in the day. So you can go, oh, well, I'll just skip breakfast. Okay, no, I got busy or I feel really guilty, so I just won't eat lunch. I'll just skip lunch, okay? You might not feel the outcome of that in that moment or even for a few hours, but when it pops up is at nighttime. And in my own experience, what happens is if you don't consume enough calories throughout the day that your body needs, so if you don't feed your body enough food that it needs throughout the day, it will make up for it at nighttime. And that is when you will be standing at the fridge in the pantry or the plate of leftovers or, at your friend's house, like the kids are playing and you're having a barbecue and stuff. You will make up for it then at nighttime. So skipping meals is not a thing that you need to be doing at all over this festive and Christmas period. Like I said, doesn't work. Don't feel guilty about eating bad things and then skipping a meal because every single time you keep doing that, you just keep setting yourself up for failure and you're going to find it very difficult to make smarter food choices. And, we're all about making you feel in control, empowered, and so that you do feel good around the food choices that you are making. Tip number 4 of my daily habit: don't go to events, parties, catch-ups, anything like that hungry. Again, you're just asking for trouble. How hard is it to eat mindfully and enjoy food and be in control of your food choices when you're at a party, a social event, a friend's house? It is so hard to eat mindfully and make good food choices when you are hungry. So I got into the habit quite a few years ago of just not going to these things hungry. So if you know that you're going to something, and especially to those kind of events, where they have like lots of picky foods, you're not actually going there. It's not like going to a friend's house and you're having a dinner or a barbecue or a meal and you're going to have a proper meal. It's when you go to these events and it's like finger food and picky food and plate food and those kind of things. Because when you go to those kind of things, it's often hard to fill yourself up and it's often hard to feel satisfied when you're just picking at things from like different platters and all of those kind of things. So if you do have to go to something like that, make sure you eat something before you go. Now, I know you're probably listening to this and going, but Jen, that doesn't make sense because if I eat before I go and then I go there, then I'm consuming all these extra calories. No, it doesn't work that way because eating something small or eating something high protein before you go to these events is actually going to help you eat less at the events and you're actually going to eat better at the events. You're going to eat mindfully. You're going to make smarter food choices because you're not going to be ravenously hungry eating everything that's inside. So having that small snack or something high in protein, like maybe 3, 4 o'clock, you're going out that night, have your protein smoothie then, because that will help you make smarter food choices when you're out and about. It might be some boiled eggs, like sliced up on some Cruskets with some tomato and some cheese and a little bit of basil. That's so good, by the way. Something like that later in the afternoon, again, will set you up for success when you go out that night. So it is so important that you do not go to social events hungry, because it just gives you zero control. And I know that you can relate to this. How does it feel? Like, how does it feel when you feel like the food is controlling you? Like, you just can't stop eating it and you just can't say no to food. Like, it feels really like disempowering and you feel like you have no control and that the food controls you. Doing these daily habits will put you back in the driver's seat. It will make you feel in control again. You will feel confident about your food choices because you're like, I'm going to eat that. I'm choosing to eat that. I want to eat that. No, I don't feel like that. I'm not going to have it. No, I'm not hungry. I'm not going to have that. The more you can be in control, the better and smarter food choices that you are going to make over the festive season. And tip number 5 of my daily habits is to make sure you get enough sleep. Now, I have mentioned sleep in a few episodes of the Healthy Her podcast. It is such an underrated thing. Like, it really, really is. And I know, there is going to be lots of fun things to do over like these next few weeks, lots of catch ups, lots of social things, maybe late nights, all those kind of things. And, you need to enjoy them. Like, they're there to be enjoyed. Have fun, enjoy them, but still make your sleep a priority. So it may be that you have a late night out, but then it means that instead of the next night staying up late and watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone, we're in bed a bit earlier. Like, it is such an underrated daily healthy habit to go to bed earlier. And I know it's hard because the kids are asleep and like the dishes are done and dinner's sorted and everything's away. And you need that time to yourself. And you just need that moment afterwards of the evening just to decompress and just to chill out. Because otherwise, like as parents, we often just don't get that time to ourselves at all. But when you're tired, having that time on the couch by yourself is not as important as you going to bed early, because that sleep will help you make smarter food choices for the next 5 days. So really, really over this busy time, make sure that you are prioritizing your sleep, that you're getting enough sleep. Like I said, still go out, do all the things, enjoy all of the things, but make sure that you are making sleep and getting enough sleep a priority, because it will help you to make smarter, more informed food choices. And let's be honest, who doesn't want that? And I think for me, that was a massive shift. I remember going to parties or there'd be morning tea at work, and I just always felt so out of control around food. And it was that whole restricted mindset that I used to have, because I wouldn't eat those things, because for me, those things were on the bad food list. So I didn't eat them. And so I just felt like once the thing was put in front of me, whether it was cheese and crackers or donuts or whatever it was, I just had no control. And by changing up my daily habits and doing these 5 things, I can now go to these things and I eat what I feel like, say no to what I don't want. I enjoy foods that I want to eat. Like, if there's something there that I really, really want to have, I enjoy it. I have no guilt around it. And I can honestly tell you, like, it is just the best feeling ever, being in control, being empowered, choosing food because I want to eat it, not because I feel like that food is taking control over me. And I just genuinely want you to feel that way, not just this time of the year, but every month of the year, because once you get to this point, you'll just never go back, because it is the best feeling. I hope that these 5 daily habits for smarter food choices over the Christmas and a festive season have really given you some things to think about. And it is a mindset shift, because I know that we so often just get stuck in that whole, oh, well, I better eat less, or I'll skip a meal, or I'll cut my carbs, or I won't eat bread this week, because that will help. And it doesn't actually help. It's the daily habits that you do every single day that will impact the food choices that you make. So eat your high protein breakfast, take your water with you, make your sleep a priority. Do all of those things, because it will put you in control and you will feel like you are choosing to eat things because you genuinely want to eat those things, and you'll have control to say yes to things, you'll have control to say no to things, and you will just end the festive Christmas and New Year period feeling amazing, because you will have found that healthy balance around food. You'll be able to enjoy the things you want to do, but also feel in control. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Don't forget to keep listening, and there'll be lots of episodes coming to keep you inspired. I hope you're staying sane over this crazy time, and enjoy these next few weeks over the Christmas and festive season. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing, because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @theactivebod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.